So, hey guys, looks like there's going to be another dual triangle, or whatever. So, looks like we're going to be playing decks that utilize dark and water, light and earth, fire and wind. So, I think already the typings are not that balanced. So, in terms of typings, let's see. Light and earth, I think, is probably the absolute worst one, without a doubt. Terrible, actually terrible. The one that is probably most disgusting, Fire Wind, and there's also the fact that the Dominus cards are probably somewhat relevant in this event because they're kind of very usable for a lot of decks that fall under this criteria, I would imagine, when you're being restricted to one element. So I think Konami's trying to get us to craft the Dominus cards despite it kind of sucking. Like, just like the Dominus cards, don't get me wrong, they're not like that bad. It's just like, what deck can I really play these in? It kind of gives off that vibe, right? Like in Tearlament, I don't think you really want to be playing the Dominus cards. They're kind of like iffy, and a few other decks probably don't really like the attribute restrictions. Like, let's say, I don't know, Vanquish Soul, Therion, just whatever in general. A lot of decks have like randomly a lot of attributes in them. Like Yubel, you play Shervara, which is a fire, and then you kind of play lights, the Fiendsmith sometimes, and then you're also a dark deck just in general. So yeah, it gets pretty suspect pretty fast. So all right. Oh, we have some monsters, some representation. So let's see if we can recognize all these monsters. Dragoon, water. Uh, oh, that's Levice, I think. Shardrake Levice, and that's is that Spirit Dragon, Ultimate Spirit Dragon, or which Blue Eyes is that? Not 100% sure. I think that's Ultimate Spirit Dragon or whatever, and then that's the Primite boss monster, Promethean Princess, Baron de Fleur. Right. So let's see. We can change between the different ones, but I think the best one out of these three, just based on vibes, I'm going to say Firewind because you have access to Ash Blossom and also Droll and Lockbird. And you do have access to like the mulcharmies. I think you have, wasn't there, I think Bulos was a wind, maybe, and then Pearlia is like a water. And then we have Maxi, maybe, unless Maxi's banned, in which case Earth would be absolutely terrible. But then that makes Dark and Water kind of terrible because then you have to deal with like Maxi, but you have no Ash Blossom, so you would only have like a called by. So it'll feel like you're getting sacked harder. So consistency reasons, I think like going Fire and Wind sounds pretty good. But in terms of like monster quality, I think Dark has like some of the best monsters just tied with that attribute. You do have, if you're playing Light and Earth, you can just play straight up Primite Blue Eyes though, which is like the most popular deck right now. So that's kind of weird. But I mean, if this was actually like an eternal format, I think Fire and Wind would probably be coming out on top. Like if the meta got to develop enough. But it looks like fairly viable for the most part. So overall, I guess with the considerations here, they're kind of well balanced and kind of not at the same time. But if you really hate Maxi, you could, since you can play Ash Blossom and Droll, you're really not getting hit too hard by Maxi here. And I'm not sure if you can get match made into your own group, because if you can't, then there's some gimmicky things you might be able to do. Like, one thing that's an advantage you would have is if I was playing super heavy samurai with just mostly lights and earths, I'm not sure what I could do exactly, but with only lights and earths, I don't think dark water is that threatening, and I can't be max seed. Not that I'm, well, actually, is maxx even that big of a deal? Now that I think about it. The only thing you could draw into is like Effect Veiler and Imperm, which is a little bit less than normal, but you might be hit by Dominus cards as well now, so it's like, maybe it matters. But I'm going to have to check the ban list, I suppose, regardless. So let's go select Lightener first. And let's see. Let's do create new. And let's just rip off the mandate and see if this is legal. It should be, right? Oh, never mind. It's banned as hell. Okay. So you don't have access to maxx here. All right. Then here. Let's see. We should have Ash Blossom, right? Droll. And then the mulcharmies. There should be, yeah, Fuelos. So you're telling me fire gets access to this, so you can do this. I mean, like, Fuelos isn't that crazy, but we have 3 Ash, 3 Fua. We can go, if we want, we can go Called By as well. And then Droll, we don't need Droll that hard, but you have Droll, right? So in terms of hand trap lineup, already off of this, right? Without including the Dominus cards, you have this, which is pretty good. And then with Dominus, this prevents you from activating Dark, Water, and Fire. So with, yeah, if you're playing Dark Water, you can just use Dominus Impulse, no problem. And then if you were playing, the other one is Light and Earth, you can play triple Dominus Purge. So what are we at on Fire Wind? So if we're playing Wind, we can play Dominus Purge. If we're playing Fire, we can also play Dominus Impulse, yeah. So these look kind of relevant, somewhat. I think Fire and Wind probably has the worst time playing the Dominus cards. If you're like playing like Droll, right? You don't want your Droll turned off necessarily. You don't want maybe your Fuelos turned off, but Fuelos doesn't really matter that much, so I think Fuelos being turned off is okay. So we can just cut Droll if we're playing Dominus, I guess. That's all, right? And that would be just Impulse, yeah. So idea is probably to drop this in like draw phase or standby phase, and then Dominus Impulse later. Sounds good enough, I guess. And in terms of hand traps here, we have 6, 12. We could use like a little bit more, like 2 more for good measure, but not really a whole lot we can run for Fire and Wind, except if you're feeling extra psycho, I guess. Aside from Joel, you have Heavenly Zephyr, Miradora. I'm not sure when this guy actually comes up, unironically, but yeah, you know, he's here. And also worth thinking about for a second here. I just need to check something real quick. Let's check this. What is the stat line on this? 1,200. Yeah, it doesn't even work on this. It works on none of these guys. Yeah, except for Lacrima. You know what? Does that do anything for you? No, it really doesn't. Damn, Miradora sucks ass. The only thing good about Miradora is it's like kinda large. But no, it's not large enough to beat over anything. Nah, this card's just ass. It's just, yeah. This happens in like next chain. And this only stops ignition effects. Well, I'll remember you for next time when we meet all of these conditions. And this has to be a special summon from the extra deck, not the main deck either, or hand, or anywhere else. Man, that sucks. There's not even a single good point for you to negate against like Sword Soul. I guess this can deal with certain types of interruptions, right? This technically works on at least Desiree. Kinda. Which is something. So, yeah. Let's see. With Fire and Wind, you have this hand trap lineup. With Well, yeah, let's. Well, I guess we can't go to unlimited ban list right now, but if I was playing Dark, you have a few actually as well. They're not that good, so Pistols are awkward against like Fire and Wind, so I probably wouldn't play these unless it's for actually your engine. So Pistols are only good against specifically Dark or Light, so it would be like kind of the Mirror or Light Earth. And then aside from that, you have like Crow. Crow's generically like decent, so it's not that bad. In terms of water hand traps, I don't think there's any good ones. Uh, Aside from that, I guess you could play Ghost Cherries technically, but Ghost Cherries would only be useful against like your own deck type because yeah, your opponent would need to be playing Dark also. Hmm, kind of awkward in terms of hand traps like this. Yeah. Do we have anything else we could play? I don't think there's that much. I guess there was like a Typhoon. You could use this, I guess. This is generically playable, and you can technically activate it on your opponent's turn if the conditions are met here. It's like kind of an MST that you can use on turn 0 sometimes. Well, that's something for sure. What else do we have? Let's see. In terms of hand traps for Light and Earth, you have Ghost Spell, Back Veiler, you have Dominus Impulse, or not Dominus Impulse, Dominus Purge, which should be fine, right? So that's like 9 plus Imperm, you're at like 12. Dark and Water is like the one struggling for hand traps the most. In terms of hand traps, do we have anything else worth running? Dark hand trap, Dark hand trap. Dimension Shifter is probably banned if maxx is, so not that. And it's also a one of anyways, so um yeah. Whole lot of nothing, I guess. Pistols are only effective against this. It's literally impossible to summon a Pistol, earn a 0 against this. So that sucks. And in terms of generics, though, this actually becomes a little bit weird, though. I'm not 100% sure what you would be playing here now, because with specifically like Snake Eye, you might be thinking like Snake Eye's kind of good, right? But the play you go into is like you go IP and then you go Promethean Princess, right? No IP, you have no IP, no SP, so you can't do anything with those guys. So in terms of just like Snake Eye, it's not actually that good, and also you don't have the Bellstar. So can't do anything with that. Can't do anything with that as a Mina card, so Snake Eye should not be like playable at all. Fire King though is like purely fire, so that should be like fine, but what are you doing with the Fire King cards exactly? I'm not 100% sure. If you're playing like purely fire, I don't think that's going to be that great. But in terms of what deck I think would be like absolutely disgusting in this event, I think Magispector is pretty cheap. So if you built just Magispector, you should be rolling some people. Do we have any hits here? No. Full power Magispector. So in terms of hand traps, what hand traps are we actually worried about here? So Imperm doesn't work. Effect Veiler doesn't actually work against this deck either. You think there's a choke point, right? You think you can actually Effect Veiler Orthrus Nue, but if you build the deck like I guess arguably optimally, we can have a certain play to play around Orthrus Nue. So if we run copies of Majesty Pegasus, and then we drop magic if we have access to Magispector Wind when we summon Orthrus Nue, we can tribute Orthrus Nue to make sure it always resolves because it's off the field because it gets tributed for cost. So against targeted effects, you can never do anything to Orthrus Nue. This does suck a little bit in the sense that you can't do anything to Orthos Nue. Because it's a specific effect doesn't like add either, it specifically well, doesn't add to hand, right? Does it? Yeah. It adds cards from your face-up pendulum to hand, and then it puts 2 guys from your deck into your extra deck face-up. So you can't, like, Ash this, you can't Dominus Purge this. So that's pretty effective, I think. If I was playing a deck for this event, I think my go-to right now is probably... I'm thinking of doing Magispector. And then we just throw in, like, Terror Top and stuff. And that should just be fine. You also have access to Apollosa here. In terms of decks that can access Apollosa with just Fire and Wind, nothing like super comes to mind, but I mean, you technically do have Apollosa. What I think you're kind of worried about here is maybe closing out the game with a Wind deck. Kinda hard. Can't really think of too many good ways to do that. In terms of just Fire decks, yeah, I can't think of too many good decks here, right? And also, I guess Crow's not good against Magispector in particular, but you don't really have that much else. You have, I guess, what's his face? Oh right, Skullmeister, yeah. We have Skullmeister for Dark. That might be okay, depending on exactly what we're facing off against. If I could ever spell, like, okay. Where is he? Skullmeister? Skullmeister, Meister. Oh, right, it doesn't show up because it's... I could have been spelling it right the whole time. Oh. Skullmeister. When a card effect is activated in your opponent's graveyard, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to negate that effect. I guess you would have to be playing this unironically. And you should probably somewhat play around Nib. Kinda, maybe-ish. Who knows? Sprites are not fully playable, I guess. You can play some of them because some of them are fire, some of them are dark. That's like awkward. I think, looking at this right now, top contender for best deck in this event right now, just off of purely vibes, Magispector. Pretty hard to deal with. No targeting and all that. Doesn't play into the graveyard, so can't do too much here. All of the dark hand traps have to do with the graveyard essentially, right? And then the light ones you have to target for the most part. I don't remember if we can actually play around Nib or not. Maybe. Maybe you can? Wait, no, you can. With Terror Top, I think, yeah. Boozling Gossip Shadow is a win. So we can go... Wait, what are these loners? Oh yeah, I should check the loners. Technically, yeah, Solomon Gray. Uh-huh. The hand traps we have here, this lineup is kind of trash. To some extent, yeah. And you also have Eagle Booster. I hate this. You literally do not need Eagle Booster. It's pointless, since you have 3 copies of Majesty of Pegasus. You don't need Eagle Booster in the slightest for the Magispector or the Snowy. If you just sequence your cards correctly, right? It doesn't matter at all. Oh, I see. That there's an issue I didn't take into account. It's a small thing, though. So, you're allowed to play Ignis Phoenix here, but you can't play the Water guy. The Water guy, actually, I don't remember what the combo was with him, but I think he was pretty damn good. The actual Pendulum effect is trash on this, right? You can shuffle 1 face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck into the deck, then add 1 non-Pendulum Draco Slayer or Ignite monster from your deck to your hand. I guess this one's okay. Right? No, wait. Yeah. They're all okay-ish. I guess... Wait. But if that's going to be... Yeah, you can hella search this already, so it's like... Kind of moot point, really. And then how do you have a guy in your extra deck anyways? Yeah, that's a little bit counterproductive. Okay. Lyrilusk. No idea. Whatever. And then here, let's change group and see what we have here. Huh. This is Heroic Champion. So that's like an OTK list. We have ABC. Oh, this is a good chance to play ABC if you don't have it, I guess. But also, notice anything wrong with this list? Yeah, you have 3 effect valor. If you aren't going first, you're basically not playing the game at all. Great. But why are we playing frontline base? I thought the deck was mostly light monsters anyways. And aren't there like starters or something? Like, are you hurting this bad that you need frontline base? I don't think you need frontline base, right? Surely not. Zodiac. What? There's no Primite Blue Eyes as any of the loners. Nothing with Primite even. It's kind of lame. So here we have Marincess. Yeah, Marincess is okay, but like, what do you have in terms of hand traps? Double Crow. Terrible. Where are your imperms? Gross. Imperms. Where? Mulcharmies Perulias. Why? Is Perulia even that worth thinking? I guess Perulia is okay. It's situational though. Okay, Knights Arising from the Dark. Phantom Knights. Phantom Knights is just okay. This is BA with Phantom Knights as well. So it's just that line. Yeah, I see. So still not that great, I don't think. In terms of decks, I think like the loners, Firewind probably is the best one. But all the loners are kind of low quality. They're worse than constructed, I think, for sure. So in terms of Dark Water, I can do a lot. So I didn't see Shark like built super well, I don't think. I think that deck should be able to be built a little bit better. Dark hand traps and the Dominus cards. So Dark and Water. Easy Impulse, right? I would start with Triple Impulse. And then we have no Ash Blossom, so we could consider Skullmeister. Skullmeister is decent, but there is actually, I guess, a reason to play Perulia here, if we're trying to be optimal. So the thing about Perulia is that it's a level 4 water and it's an aqua. I'm not 100% sure if sharks actually care about this or not, if it cares about the typing or the attribute. If it cares about the attribute, then you would play Perulia just for that, I guess. So let's see, where is it? Shark. You target a water monster on your field. Yep. And then Dream Shark. No, not this one. Wait, where's the good one? Ah, here. If all monsters you control are water, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, add a... Yeah. So, for example, this is just combo, right? So I can do Abyss Shark, special summon after I normal summon Perulia, and then we can go Abyss Shark to add, I guess, like Big Jaws or something, and then that's probably combo from there, right? Yeah, just something like that, I'm thinking. And normally, I don't think you would bother playing Perulia for this. The only reason you're playing Perulia for this is because, well, you really don't have any other hand traps you can really run because you're playing Dark Water. So that sucks. But also, you know, Imperm. Nice. And then maybe Skullmeister is still not too terrible because it is still a level 4 at least. And it is one of the strongest hand traps aside from Bestials, because Bestials are really large and in charge. But Skullmeister, you can beat up people with Skullmeister pretty hard. That's about all I have to say about this. Aside from that, now that I think about it, a lot of the C cards are actually Earth. I'm not sure how many playable C cards we have, but you could play them all if you're doing Light Earth as well, so it gets a little bit jank. But I guess this should be at least somewhat competitive if we're looking at like what water decks can do, right? Yeah. But you would get Hand Trap to Oblivion by Firewind, right? Ash Blossom, Imperm, Drone Lockbird, all that would be really bad if you're playing Sharks, I think, yeah. So Dark would be a little bit better against just Droll specifically. Ash is still not that great. You can maybe tank it, and that'd be fine. What you should definitely be able to play, I think, here, if you really want to, I think you can just do Tealman, right? Yeah, these guys are all dark and water, right? But Rhino is limited. Ah, there's the caveat. Okay, branded. Right, no light monsters. Dark only branded's kind of awkward, isn't it? Well, at least the Despia stuff is still okay. And now that I think about it, oh right, no Lubellion, which is a light. So Bestials are a lot more terrible than usual. Well, isn't that awkward? So I think the most popular deck by a landslide will probably be the Blue Eyes Slop. I wonder if they are nerfing the Blue Eyes Slop at all. Primite, Blue Eyes. Are we seeing any nerfs? You have the audacity to nerf like Tear Element again. Okay, so this is nerfed at least a little bit. So we have Wishes at 1, Maiden at 1, Blue Eye Spirit Dragon at 1. Okay, so it's like a little hit. Honestly, this isn't even that much. Because you could still, if you really care, you could period ray map, right? And that would increase the consistency a bit, I think. Unless I have the, wait, yeah, it's a 0/0. Yeah, you can period ray map for Sage with Eyes of Blue. Right? No, it's 0, 1500. Okay, maybe you can't then. What can you do for this guy? Search? I think there is something you can do to search him, probably, right? This hurts the consistency like a lot though. It should still be playable at least, and you still do have the Primite cards. How bad is this actually hurt? Hold up, let's check. So that's 5 cards here. So this is dropped from 9 to 5, so it's like almost half the consistency on this. So yeah, that's pretty bad. So your half is likely to see a Blue Eyes starter. But you can still get into the Primite stuff at least pretty consistently. And this makes you really weak to Bestial, so if something happens to this Maiden, you're never seeing that Maiden again. You're never making like the majority of your extra deck, I guess. You're also light locked as well, which is something. Yo, but you guys know what Dark has that no other attribute has? You have you have Typhon. Hell yeah. And then Light has Zeus. What do you have for Fire and Wind? Nothing that good generically. You have SPIP for Dark and Water as well. Yeah, I mean, easy answer, just make like Magispector. I just don't really feel like crafting the extra copies of Majesty Maiden for this. but that is what would be optimal, right? So if I were to craft a list, I think it's like 3 of these guys, take one of those, one of those, and then that's enough of those. Throw in 2 of those, 2 of those, 2 of those, 3 of these, 3 of these. Uh, what was this one? I don't remember. Do we play that one? Whatever. Ogama is fine. This one is also fine. Wait, this is the one that special summons from hand, right? Ah, yeah. 3 of those, 3 of those. We want at least one of these. It's useful for something. Don't remember exactly what, but decent card in general. And then that is about all you need for the engine for the most part. We do need an ignite for Majesty Pegasus, I believe, right? Don't we? Oh wait, this is where the combo crumbles a little bit, I think. So if we look at related cards, I think we did need this one more. The pendulum effect for this is a lot better, isn't it? Pendulum effect. Target a Draco Slayer Dynamis card in your other pendulum zone. Special summon it. So this would allow you to special summon the Majesty Pegasus and then use it as a material to link summon into Orthos Nui. Oh, wait. That's a little bit problematic. If we can't do that, I don't think we can put another body on the field, right, with this? Yeah. That's pretty bad. So the play that I was thinking of is to summon Nui. You can summon Nui with Majesty Pegasus plus any other Magispector card, I believe. That's what it was, basically. So if we open like Bunbuku, Yata, like either of these would be fine. And then we can like Bunbuku to search, Yada search, Magispector Wind. We can do a lot with this basically. I don't remember the exact line though. What was it again? Huh? Actually, no, I think it was genuinely any Magispector because you can search Majesty's Pegasus. Then you can, yeah, you can tribute Majesty Pegasus or something like that for Yeta and Bunbuku. Like either or. And then you can at some point grab Magispector Wind. I think it's supposed to be Yata. Grab Wind. And then you can summon, I think it was like this. Something like that. I don't know. It's just like a lot for me to take in right now. I think if we open Majesty's Pegasus plus either Bunbuku or Majesty Pegasus plus Yata gets there, you can search like kind of the trinity of these cards, right? So it's like, oh yeah, that's what it was. I think it was like Yata will grab Wind, Bunbuku will grab you a copy of Porcupine, and then because you have Porcupine, you can get Porcupine onto the field to make Nue with in this case it'll be, I guess, Porcupine plus Bunbuku or Porcupine plus Yata, whichever. And then you go like Wind effect to tribute Nue if someone tries to target it with something. So that should be the line, I think. And we do have like a decent amount of space here though. So that's something. I know we have room for like Imperms, Drolls, Buelos, here since we're playing like Yearly Wind, we could also do like Dominus Purge technically, but we could just run Ash Blossom, I guess. So we'd do that. Ash Blossom, Imperm. What else are we missing here? I guess that this is like a bit awkward Terror Top would be good also. Does this just require pendulum monsters in general? Yeah. Could use some work, I guess. But something like this, I guess, would be the general idea. And there is no secret village, right? So we don't have that. What's the stat line on these guys? Kind of weird all around, I guess. But Kieran's pretty good, I guess, so that's something. Actually, is there anything we can do here? I guess we can technically run Electromite as well. How do we do this? Is there a point in special summoning this guy over here? It's an okay scale, that's about it, right? If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, special summon a Draco Slayer or Ignite. So in this case, it would always be Majesty Pegasus that we're summoning off of this. How are we making like Heavy Malphite's Electromite with this? No idea, but I mean, and general ideas there, I guess, for the most part. Not being able to special summon Majesty Pegasus is a kind of an issue because the combo line I had in mind required you to special summon Majesty Pegasus to grab Majesty's Pegasus, and then you contribute Majesty Pegasus, right? Now that line's not really doable, which is awkward, I guess. Truly problematic, I guess. Well, whatever then. Alright, let's swap around Dark and Water. So any chance I get, I usually like seeing if we can get into like Zombie World. Zombie World's kind of nice for reasons. So I'm not sure if like a lot of decks care about being zombies, but we have that option. We also have, of course, like Orchist, which is just like pretty dark. So we could remake that list I made for that other event essentially, and we just could kind of copy it. I don't think I still have it saved, right? Let's see, Orchist, Punk Orchist. We have Femnites Zombie World as a save list here, but that's about it, I think. Paleo is technically an option, I guess. A lot of cards I can't play here, though. Oh, wait, they actually banned rollback? Oh, wow. The majority of this list is actually legal. So this is actually playable. A lot of these cards don't do that much, aside from specifically the Zeus, but we can't play Zeus because it's a light. Okay. And then it's just reworking a lot of things, honestly. Without rollback, I'm not sure what the hell this deck does, honestly. I mean, this whole deck list is super flawed without that. But yeah, you could play Paleo for Dark and Water, I guess. Yeah, that kills a lot of the cards in that list in particular. So, alright. Create new. Yep. Just eradicate that. Okay. Starting fresh. Well, for the Dark event, I do remember that there was a really disgusting tech you can do. So, to make Borrowed Savage, because you're probably going to be Dark locked anyways, you don't have to necessarily do this immediately, but if we play this and this, one of these, we have an Omni Negate that insulates all of our plays. So the idea here is pretty simple. We're going to have copies of, I guess we'll do Rocket Tracer and then Silver Rocket because that's fun. But I guess the better one would be let's see where it is. Isn't there a different rocket you can run? Recharger. I think Recharger was like technically better, but the idea here is that if we activate Quick Launch, we can special summon any rocket monster from our deck. So in this case, we'll choose Rocket Tracer, and then Tracer we can link off for Striker. And then Striker will add a Boot Sector, and then we can do Striker effect to add Tracer back to the hand, special summon Tracer with Boot Sector. Rocket Tracer can then pop Boot Sector launch, and then that allows us to special summon Rocket Recharger. And then we can use this level 4 and this level 4 to make Warlord Savage Dragon, which can then equip the Striker Dragon. And I mean, it only has like one negate ever, but it's still a big guy with an Omni negate, which is very useful for if you are going first, just in general. And of course, there's also the fact that we could technically repurpose this line going second to just make an SP, right? So we could do instead Quick Launch, special summon Tracer. Tracer is going to get linked off for Striker. Activate Boot Sector to special summon Tracer, assuming our opponent has at least 2 monsters on the field. Then we should be able to do this to special summon back the Tracer. So we have Striker, Tracer, make SP. There should be no locks, so we can just do that as well. Speaking of which, I think you can just play... Well, I guess you can't fully play Dragon Link because you have no Romulus, you have no seals. So it would be like Dark Dragon Link, which is somewhat doable. So that's still not too bad. But yeah, just as a splashable little Omni Negate engine, you have this as an option. And then for Light Nerf, I don't know like the text for that, but for Fire and Wind, we have Terratop. So Terratop special summons itself. This should add Taka Tomberg. Then when you special these two, this gives you now the option to deal with some hand traps. We have Bamboozling, Gossip Shadow, and then there is Totem Bird, I believe, maybe. 2 level 3 wind monsters, yep. So this will be able to negate a spell trap. If you want to protect your back row, this is an option technically for Magispector. And then if you want to play around hand traps, you have Bamboozling, Gossip Shadow for like everything else essentially. And just wondering, might as well check. Oh. Huh, I see. You can just do this. Well, that's something, isn't it? Let's change to Light and Earth. Let's do this one, and then let's see. Is this legal? Sure is. So for Light and Earth, I don't really have much of anything. Because in terms of like attributes, I think Earth is probably the attribute I play absolutely the least. I don't think I even have a single good Earth list available, right? Surely not. Aha! Let's see, we have Morphing Jar. Oh wait, we have Memento, which is Dark and Earth. That's the closest. Millennium, we don't have that many Millennium cards out here. Scrap, don't really have that engine. Not that it does like that much. I guess I can play like Earth Insects, if there are enough Earth Insects, maybe. Seeing nothing so far. I have Punk. Funk has like a lot of attributes though. This doesn't look playable. I mean, it's like a little playable, but not great. I don't think we can do anything with like Regulus either. In terms of Therions, it's like kind of terrible. Oh, actually I have Subterror, exactly, and nothing else. So this is literally all I could play. Subterror. Well, that's something. If I recall correctly, Altergeist is like a bajillion different attributes, so that's not playable. Well, that's something. Well, for this, I guess Subterror is like, alright. We'll just assemble a quick list then. I think we can just play 3 of that, it doesn't really matter. 3 of these. I don't think I have any copies of Metaverse, I might have like 1. Final Battle. Cave Clash. This is not that useful, is it? Is this just Subterror cards in general? It's kind of interesting. Behemoth. Phosphor Glacier. I have no idea what you're setting off of that, honestly. Behemoth, Ultramuffus. That's like maybe useful. Yeah, that's okay, I guess. And then this one. Sure. Not that important. Nemesis Defender. Not that useful. And this Behemoth Burrowing. Let's see. This card's not that great either. Succession. Succession's like moderate. It's like okay. And then these 2 are kind of useless. This one's useful. You can't really destroy face-ups though. Face-up back row you can't actually remove, but I don't think there's like too much you would be worried about. In terms of like floodgates, if someone were playing them, you don't care because you're playing Subterror. So let's see now. Metaverse. Yeah, I have no copies. Okay. So not a whole lot going on here. Just a bunch of random guys, I guess. Ninja's not really playable here either, right? Nothing we can do with this guy. Not really. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have for Earth. It would just be some form of Subterror. So there's Subterror Core right there. So, that's something. A solid, like, solid deck. It used to be like a lot better, but yeah, I don't know if it necessarily competes with everything else available though. Yeah, a lot of options that you have for a lot of different decks. Here's what people will end up playing, but yeah, I guess you could technically also play Speedroid, right? And that's something. Well, actually, now that I think about it, wait. Hold up. Isn't this also legal? How much of this is legal? You have Genroku? Exactly. Nice. So what you can do with the 10 fight cards this event is if you specifically open Sangan Summoning, you can add your hand, Genroku, and then you special summon Genroku. And then you can use this as like a level 4 tuner, I guess. Or you can use this as a level 3 tuner. Wow. Crazy. That's some insane stuff right there. Do we even want Birth? I don't think we want Birth. Unless we want Discard Birth. Or like Majesty Pegasus. Huh. That's worth consideration for this, I guess, at least. Oh yeah, I'm forgetting called by here. Feel like us forgetting something vital. Well, alright. I guess that's like... Actually, wait. You do run Droll in this list because Droll is a wind spellcaster, right? So it'd be something like this, I guess. And then we can just change a few things around here. And then, I mean, list is mostly complete here. Extra deck could use some adjusting, but it's like, how many things can we actually make with this? Yeah. I guess we could throw in like Hita or like Mirror, I guess. Like some Charmers. That's about it. Hey, for Dark though, now that I think about it, Dark has even more text. You can technically also do you can do Verte, I think, right? Verte for Dragoon. Oh hell yeah, brother. So we can go Verte for Dragoon. Yup. We sure can. And then what? Verte also for DPA, I guess. Nice. You have those options. And actually, you probably don't have to worry about pistols for the most part, so that handles that stuff. And while we're here, we're just changing groups like a lot, but gotta check. Scythe. Huh. Okay. You can scythe lock people maybe if you can figure out how to do it with just light and earth monsters. Doable. And the counterplay is only this, which could technically play pistols, but no billion, so that kind of sucks. I mean, you can still do some things, but knowing that there's just one deck that can't even put anything in the graveyard for you, that sucks a lot, actually. Hmm. Well, just for this, though, Chaos Space doesn't get us there. We can send off of, like, Ravine, technically. That'd be a way. Thunder Dragon. I mean, this could kind of work, but kind of not really. You can summon Colossus like that. That's technically possible. If I open either one of these, and then we can Colossus, I guess. That'd be like too much effort, though. Well, unless you have a really clean way into it. Wait, well, actually, this can't send. Yeah, this doesn't even work because you have no light monsters. Oh wow. Okay. Well. Oh wait. I was thinking of normal summoning Alistair for a second there, but not a whole lot we can do with Alistair, honestly. If we're locked in Dark and Water, right? We could normal summon Mr. Alistair, but it doesn't get us that far, right? Well, okay. Well, what is the most psycho way we could make Dragoon? Because I'm thinking about making Dragoon somehow, and then the materials will be in the graveyard, and then we can go Verte to send Magicalized Fusion, I think it's called. Magicalized Fusion. Yeah, this. And then we can just make a second Dragoon, potentially. That's an idea. Just to be a funny guy. But you know what? Now that I think about it, Orchist is just cracked regardless. Because you don't care too much about being Dark Locked. Because Dark and Water, like, genuinely, they don't really mix. So you can just play straight up Orchist. Like, yeah. Orchist is like one of the best Dark engines out there, so Why not Orcust? Something like this, I guess. Throw in SP, throw in some like other guys. We can throw in Dark Griffer as well, keeping it like really simple. And then we can also throw in the Rocket cards and Famine cards. And that list is like the best list that I know of that you can make for Pure Dark, because it just gets into like everything. Like you have a lot of disgusting starters as well. And if we really want to, we could also normal summon. I guess like if we open quick launch plus Harpor, for example, we can go through like the majority of this line and then just normal summon the Harpor and use this as the material for Borreload Savage instead. Or we can wait for later, summon Girsu, to use Girsu to make the Borreload Savage, because then we can equip like Galatea from the graveyard, which is like an additional Omni in the long term if you're feeling like especially greedy. That is something you could do. In terms of Garnets, the only one we really run is Boot Sector, I think. And potentially copies of Tracer. And also like the Tracer target, which can like sometimes moderately suck, but if we play Dark Griffer and the high level Dark package, it's not that bad, I think. And we can also do Famnite cards to send. So like specifically Torrent Scales can send like any of these 6 right here, and that's like Orcust combo. So the Nightmare stuff can't really go into that, I'm pretty sure, but you don't really need them, so yeah, that's fine. I guess we could do, oh, you would have to, oh wow, Unicorn into Mermaid, wow, disgusting. Who would do this Orcust combo? But yeah, I'm just thinking we could do a video basically for every single attribute, because they're fairly viable, but I think in terms of like hand traps, they're not the same in any regard. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.